All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the kitchen table. We're going to be going through this step-by-step process of your virtual event checklist. I appreciate you taking the time to go watch myself at the island because it really gives some perspective on the importance of showing up virtually professional and the importance of wanting to provide your clients with an experience when it comes to the technology. Again, we're talking about theory and implementation. I'll have another course talking about my top recommendation equipment and what to utilize if you're looking to upgrade. Now, we only got about an hour, so we got an extremely important checklist that I want to go through. And when I'm dealing with high-level executives, I'm scheduling myself at least minimum 20 minutes before every single meeting to go through this checklist. Of course, as you start to go through the checklist and get more comfortable with it, you'll be able to shave that time off excessively. However, when you're just starting out, give yourself enough time so you're not feeling panicked and rushed going into these meetings. It's extremely important to be able to be in a position where you're calm, where you're relaxed, because if you're showing anxiety, if you're showing stress, that's going to be able to relay that to the clients, and it's just not going to be a good experience for both. So first things first, when you're getting ready and you're going through your virtual sales checklist, give yourself a minimum 20 minutes time to prep for this meeting. So you're going in there calm, cool, and collective. One thing I need to note with your virtual event checklist, you'll notice this is not numbered this is not numbered, right? There's a reason why I didn't number this, and Tim S. Grover actually talks about this in both of his books. Each aspect on this checklist is as important as the other one. There's not a ranked 1 through 10. This is every single step needs to be desired. And what I do when going into meetings, I'm going to look through this checklist. I'm going to look at what are some of the situations that are going to take the longest. So when we go into this, immediately what I'm going to do is I'm going to confirm my power and battery. The reason why I want to confirm my power and battery immediately is because when you have lights, when you have your laptop, when you have technology, you're only as good as the technology when it works. The last thing you want to have happen to you is when you're in a virtual meeting, you have something, one of your lights goes out, even worse, your laptop dies. So it's extremely important going into the meeting. And when I say confirming power and battery, I mean checking every single plugin, every single item that runs on battery with your MicroStudio, confirm that the power and the battery are intact. So I'm going to walk you through this process on my MicroStudio. What I currently have right now that's the most important when it comes to the batteries is, of course, I have my laptop. I need to ensure that my laptop is actually plugged in. And then, of course, I have my lights. I want to make sure that there's enough battery and power on my lights to be able to ensure it's going to last the whole meeting. And of course, my camera. The camera setup in my MicroStudio is actually plugged into my laptop, so I won't have to worry about it going out of power. However, if you are in a situation where your mirrorless camera is running on battery, I highly recommend having a couple extra battery packs that are already charged, so you can have a quick swap if you need to. But when you invest in your MicroStudio, you will have an opportunity where your camera plugs directly into your laptop, so you don't have to have the stress and the anxiety when it comes to batteries. So let's get into what I'm going to check right away and exactly what I'm looking through when going through my MicroStudio. So the very first thing that I'm checking right away is my lights. How much time do I have left on my lights? The lights that I use in my MicroStudio are Lumecube lights, and the reason why I like these lights is because you can see right there, it actually gives me a time on how much time I have left before my battery goes out. And it also gives me opportunities to check the white and warm lights, but we'll dive into that after. So when I'm looking at my lights, I see here at a 15% light, which is all I'm gonna need right now. I have about 2.5 hours left on my actual power for my lights. When I see that, I'm going to be very comfortable with that because I don't imagine that my meeting is going to be lasting anything longer than 2 hours. What's extremely important is when you have 2 lights, check both lights. So you can see on this one, it's a little bit less. I have only about 33 minutes left on this light. So immediately when I see that, what I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to power off this light and I'm going to take it directly to my charging port to ensure when I go into this meeting I'm not gonna have one light going out on me. So that's a confirmation for the lights. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go plug this in quickly. While you're waiting, please go ahead and check your lights to see if you do have power and how much time is left on the power. And if you don't have enough time, go ahead and plug your lights in right away, and then we'll go on to the next step, okay? So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back everybody. So I have all my lights and everything confirmed. So the next thing that I'm gonna wanna dive into is the next most important thing is my actual laptop. When you're going into a meeting, at any point, make sure your laptop is plugged in at all times. If it's one thing to have your lights die on you, it's another thing to actually have your laptop die on you when you're in the middle of a meeting, right? That's detrimental to any sort of proposition or proposal. I wanna make a note. When you're checking your plugins, ensure that the plugin is connected accurately to the device and also accurately to the actual wall. I've had plenty of times where I just look directly at my laptop and I look, oh yeah, it's plugged into my laptop, only to find out it's actually not plugged into the wall. So it's extremely important to understand that the device is plugged in and the other end is plugged into an actual power source. So you know that power is coming through right away. And of course, I'm gonna double check that. I can see in the wall over here that it is actually plugged in. And then of course I can see right away that it's plugged into my device. So right away, I'm confident enough that my laptop is being charged, it's plugged into the wall, and it's plugged into the source, so I don't have to worry about that. At that point, I'm very confident right now that I've confirmed that all of my power opportunities are either being charged or they are charged. My computer is plugged into the device and the actual power source, and we can go ahead and move on. So what's really important and what's amazing is you can actually take your checklist, go to your virtual checklist, and go to your confirmed power and battery, and then you can give yourself a nice little check there, right there. So congratulations. You've just completed the step 1 of your virtual event checklist, confirming your power and battery. I'm gonna continue getting ready for this meeting. I'm gonna send you back up to GB3 Studios and we can talk about the next segment. And then of course, we'll see you in a little bit. So we'll talk to you soon.